We are live here at KoJack's, and you know what that means. We've got another tournament for you. This time, though, this is the first event of our Permian Basin Poker Series. This is the Deep Stack Freezeout. We're doing a featured table. Only a couple of players here to begin, but the reason we're starting now is so that we can get on into the final table here in just a couple of moments. And we've got our dealer here, one of our newer dealers, Bree, in the box right now, shuffling things up, getting ready to go. But this Permian Basin Poker Series, really, we've just got a lot of different events. We're going to be guaranteeing over $100,000 between all of the different tournaments that we're going to be running. Today is the Deep Stack Freezeout with a $5K guarantee, but our prize pool is well over $10,000 for the inaugural event here at KoJack's. Now, tomorrow we're going to be doing a Hold'em and PLO high level of each. That should be a pretty good tournament for tomorrow as well. So make sure to head out to KoJack's, where we've got you covered for poker for the month of October. And we've got trophies for every single one of the events. I don't know if you noticed, but behind me, we got this trophy already. Here, let me show it to you. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Pretty cool, right? So this should be not only an excellent game with a lot of excellent poker, but some fantastic awards, some fantastic prizes to go along with it. First place of this tournament, $4,500. Second place, $3,400. Third place, $2,270. Fourth, $1,500. And fifth place, $880. So we're starting off this series here pretty well. 3 ways to a flop of 10-5 deuce. Vince coming in with clubs working for him. He's already got the flush draw, wearing red, but looking for a black card here on the turn. Hey-oh, we got Tony in the chat. What's happening, my man? Toledo Tony. Hope everything is going good. Hope that jet, that G7, G6, is it a G6 or a G7? Did you go for the extra passenger space? I hope it's out of the shop. I hope you're doing just fine. Now, Joey hits a pair of deuces, and we've also got a pair of fives folded just now. And Vince is going to go ahead and drag the first pot of the night. Hey, Tony saying he just got done watching the reserve poker stream at his home club, I believe, and watching us just starting. The timing couldn't be better. Hey, you know what? We aim to please. We're doing all right so far tonight. One hand on the books. Vince winning that hand with pure aggression. And now we've got our dealer here shuffling up, getting ready to push out hand number 2. Now, the stack sizes are pretty interesting. A very large range of stacks. Ruben actually going to be the short stack out in seat number 9. This is a 10-handed table. So he is in the 9th seat at 29,000 chips. Joe looking down at AK, though. Not a bad hand. Certainly going to raise it up. And then Vince with pocket 10s. 24,000 to call. Looks like he's going to raise it up. Going up to 100,000 in chips. Joey with the queens. What is happening? Hey-oh, Chase is rocking the house tonight here. That is our official comment from the official channel of KoJack's Poker Club. Pretty nice. Toledo Tony saying they had Tom McAvoy in the house tonight. Pretty big names out there. Pretty nice. Now, Joey facing open raise from the +1 position. A 3-bet next to act for more than 3x. And he looks down at pocket queens. This is crazy. Now, he really has a decision to make. He could be up against a larger pocket pair or perhaps exactly the ace-king that Joe is holding. Now, if that's the case, Joey knows he's getting a coin flip as far as his odds go against Joe. But Vince potentially could have kings or aces. Maybe he's raising with 10s or jacks. But next to act, that 3-bet is a very powerful move. Joe has a big decision to make, too. He's way behind aces or kings. But a hand like tens is exactly the spot that he wants to get himself into pre-flop. Maybe he thinks he can win this pot with pure aggression. If he were to shove here, Vince would absolutely have a decision to make. Vince would have a huge decision to make because Joey would be next to act behind him. Wow, Joe lets go of the ace-king. And now Vince, absolutely crushed, looking for a 10 here on this flop. There's a king. Big hand alert, absolutely true, Toledo Tony. Now, Joe would have flopped the highest pair here, flopping a pair of kings. 2 hearts on the board may slow down at least a little bit of the action, but not by too much. Joey called pre-flop out of the small blind, getting a small discount on that 100,000 chip 3-bet. Vince with pocket tens, still far behind, but does have the betting lead. Joey wondering, if I check it over, does Vince shove? If I bet, does Vince fold? Or if I bet, does he go over the top of me and shove? Vince only 162,000 chips in his stack, 230 in the middle, less than 1 SPR. And there's a 10? Are you kidding me? Joey now way behind with only 5% equity, a pair of queens to his name. Joey on a red-hot run, coming screeching to a halt right now. And it looks like Joey is getting ready to announce a bet. Tony, wow on the AK fold. I know, mind blown myself, but really Joe saved himself a lot of money here. Joey does place a bet, and this is a perfect card for Vince to shove over the top. Looks like 33 perhaps. 39. Very small bet relative to the pot. $39,000. Tiny, tiny bet. Probe bet. And Vince does, in fact, shove over the top of that. Vince has only 3-bet in this pot. 3-betting pre-flop, 3-betting on the turn. He's all in for his 162,000 chips. That's about half of what Joey has remaining in his stack. A little less than that. Joey wondering, does he want to commit? His pair of queens doesn't even beat ace-king now. Vince could be playing a suited ace of hearts this way, but Joey wondering, is that the likely hand that I'm up against? Joey really taking his time with this decision, but it is a big decision. Again, over $12,000 in the prize pool, $4,500 going to first place. Joey started this hand certainly not in bad shape. Almost 400,000 chips in his stack. Now there's over 400,000 chips in this pot. Joey realizes this could be the decision that makes or breaks his tournament life here in our first event of the Permian Basin Poker Series. Huge hand right now. Joey piecing the action together. Vince 3-betting pre-flop, checking the flop down. Joey wondering, is he slow playing an ace-king? Is he fast playing a heart draw? Maybe he hit a set of 10s, set of 6s, set of 4s. Not likely to be playing a set of 6s or 4s this way. Joey does make the call. All action has completed. The hands are going to come up. Joey gets the bad news, starts shaking his head immediately, and turns over his pocket queens. Joey is dead to just a single queen in the deck. And now a little suspense as that yet-to-come river is dealed out. A very large card about to peel off of this deck. If it is a queen, that will be the end of Vince's tournament life here on the first event, the Permian Basin Poker Series. Joey did make the call. Vince all in and at risk. A 9 on the river will give Vince the check mark and a lot of chips. In fact, he is the chip leader at this table. 554,000 chips now in Vince's stack. Joey crippled down to 165. Blinds remain at 3,000, 6,000. Joey less than 30 big blinds, but still a healthy stack, just nowhere near as healthy as it was at the beginning of this hand. Again, this is the first event of the Permian Basin Poker Series. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a level of each tournament, Hold'em and PLO. Not a round of each, but a level of each. Very, very cool to see. A $250 entry fee for that tournament, but we're guaranteeing $5,000 in total prizes. Today, we made it up to $12,600 in our prize pool on that $5,000 guarantee for today. So tomorrow may bring another huge prize pool, another round of players. There will be re-entry on that tournament tomorrow, unlike what we had for today. KoJack's in the chat, my man, handling that account, saying Vince with 554,000 chips. A huge chip stack. Average chip stack reads 190K. Vince way above that mark now that he has won that huge pot. Let's see what else we've got here at the table now that Joey has lost about half of his stack, maybe a little more than that in that last pot. Vince at 554, dominating the table. MJ in seat number 10 at 185. Chance at 181. Joey now down to 161. And look at this. Joe picks up ace quisha. Vince picking up a pocket pair. The same pocket pair that cost Joey all those chips in the last hand. And Joe is going to shove. Vince, with his newfound chips, is going to ask for an account. For a count of Joe's chip stack. And this could be first blood here at our featured table for tonight. Vince does shove over the top of Joe, isolating him from the rest of the table. Ace queen versus pocket queens. Joe unfortunately far behind. Flop comes out 10-8-4, not much help. Joe only looking for an ace. And there's a 9 of diamonds. Joe does hold the ace of diamonds. That does improve Joe's potential outs. And the river is another diamond. Joe scooping that pot. Doubling up through Vince. Toledo Tony saying, sad day yesterday losing Pete Rose. Absolutely, yeah, what a legend. R.I.P. Pete Rose. And my, how the chip stacks are changing. And we'll have to get an update here. That pot showing 656,000 chips in it. Of course, Vince was way ahead and was not at risk in that last pot. It was Joe that was at risk, but he still chipped up about 98,000 times 2. About 196,000 should be in Joe's stack. Vince, 544,000, losing about 100. We'll be down to about 450,000. MJ still at 185, Chance 175, Joey 165. Daryl and Ruben, the short stacks here at this tournament. 31K for Daryl and 29K for Ruben. And this is only hand number 4 of our featured table. Soon to be the final table here in our deep stack freeze out. Vince now getting queen 3 this time. He's folding it. Daryl looking down at the pocket rockets. Aces. He's all in. Joe with the king jack, the house hand. Looks like he makes the call. Daryl all in for 31K. Joe calling. Joe hits a jack. Any king, any jack will give Joe the pot. A 7 on the turn. And a 3 of hearts on the river. Daryl chips up, getting a full double up through Joe's newfound chips. I'm starting to notice a trend. If you win a big pot, looks like you're going all in and doubling up one of the remaining players on the very next hand. Now we do have our corrected chip stacks here. Vince at 452,000. Still leading the table by a wide margin. Dressed in all red. Makes a flush with clubs. MJ in second place, though, less than half of Vince's total chip stack at 185. Chance and Joey and Joe, all 3 of them basically tied right near that 170,000 chip mark. Daryl up to 65,000 chips, right around 10 big blinds. And Ruben, about half of that at 29,000, needs to make a move. Ruben looks down at the jack 2. That's not going to be good enough. He does fold those cards. Joey looks down at pocket jacks, the jiggities for Joey. And it looks like he's going to raise it up. 26,000 is the bet to call. And it does fold around. Joey scoops the blinds. Getting about 9,000 chips added to his stack right there. Ruben in the big blind and short stacked. This could be the hand that makes or breaks Mr. Ruben Nixon. But again, we do have plenty of events here for our poker series going on throughout the first half of the month of October, just in time for Halloween. And then we start our mini main series this Friday, guaranteeing $20,000 in that prize pool. $200 will get you in. I do expect with this many flights, though, we'll be able to almost, potentially even double that guarantee, much like what we've done today. Had a $5,000 guarantee, but $12,000 in the prize pool. I don't want to speak too soon, but I do expect that we will pass that $20,000 guarantee for our mini main that's coming up. 2 flights this Friday, 2 flights on Saturday, and then 2 normal flights on Saturday, and then we get a turbo flight, Flight E, on Saturday in the evening time. That'll be starting up at 10 p.m., which is right when we started our stream. When we started getting our stream together. And then we'll have day 2 on Sunday of this weekend, followed by the event that maybe I'm looking forward to the most, the free roll with level change bomb pots. That's going to be a lot of fun. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Texas poker, in our cash games at dealer change, we'll run out double board PLO bomb pots, 4 cards in your hand. You have to play 2 of them on each of the boards, and we run out 2 separate boards. Everybody gets 4 cards. Everybody puts in an ante, and then we deal out 2 flops, 2 turns, and 2 rivers. Very cool. So we'll be doing that for our tournament next Monday. Free roll tournament with a twist. Vince in the small blind with the ace-9 does make the call against Ruben, the short stack. King 10 in his hand. He's going to check his options, see what develops on the flop. But right now, Vince is ahead with his ace-high hand. King, Queen 8 on the flop puts Ruben in the lead. Ruben shoves. Vince folds immediately. Ruben chips up. Got just enough chips in his stack to wait for a good spot to shove the rest of his chips right in the middle there. Looks like MJ going to be switching off from our featured table to balance things out, but we are moments away from our final table. Six players at this table. Assuming the tables are balanced, that puts 12 total in the tournament. Fernando Castillo asking if we're still doing the Texas Hold'em 1-2 live streams on Thursdays. Let me look at this here. Let's see what we got on Thursday. A $50 bounty tournament that'll be coming up. I believe this Thursday and next Thursday, we will not be streaming the 1-2 games. We'll be streaming a featured or final table for the $50 bounty tournament coming up this Thursday. Next Thursday, we'll be streaming our Big O Championship, 5-card high-low. Should be pretty cool right there. We've got a lot of different events coming up here for the month of October. And Daryl has gone all in, giving a count to our dealer here, Mr. Dawson, one of my favorite dealers. Daryl all in and at risk with the ace-jack. Gets a call from Chance. Pocket sevens in Chance's hand. Joey, pocket pair of deuces. He folds face up. Not a recommended play in a tournament. But there was no action to follow. 4,000, 8,000 are the blinds. So Daryl shoving in 65,000 chips, less than 10 big blinds. Ace, 9, 10 on the flop. Daryl hits his ace, and there's a deuce. Joey kicking himself. And a jack on the river gives Daryl 2 pair. Joey would have hit a set of twos. As they say, deuces never loses. He would have knocked out Daryl as well as scooping some chips out of Chance's stack. But instead, Joey lives to find another spot. And Daryl chipping up very nicely. Daryl up to 142,000 in chips after that last pot. Chance down to 107,000 in chips. Ruben at 23K is the short stack, but he's on the button this time. It'll give him at least a couple of opportunities to select a good hand and select a good spot to put those 23,000 chips in the middle. About 3 bigs in Ruben's stack. So we will be doing a lot of different events. We got the main event coming up, and notice on the right-hand side of your screen there, all those play buttons there indicate when we're going to be doing a live stream. So if you like watching poker, well, I got good news for you. Here at KoJack's, we are going to provide. We've got plenty of different events, plenty of different live streams. Depending on your style of poker, we've got something for you. If you like Hold'em, you like PLO, hey, come out and see us tomorrow. We're going to be doing a level of each. That'll start at 6 p.m. with a $5,000 guarantee. $250 will get you a seat there. Should be pretty cool. Should be a lot of fun. Ruben folding non-suited, non-connecting cards. Joey with the ace-4 makes the call out of the small blind. Daryl, no longer the short stack, but still fairly short. Pretty close to Joey's 158,000 chips that he's got. Daryl does hit a pair of sixes. Joey just ace high here. Is going to bet. Daryl wondering, is his 6 good? He makes the call. Joey actually kind of nodding right there with approval of that call. There's a 10 on the river. Does Joey fire again? And it looks like he's cutting out some betting chips. There it is. 18,000 looks like the bet. Daryl wondering what he got himself into. Is pair of sixes best? Daryl with the absolute bluff catcher in his hand. Doesn't believe Joey. Does make the call. Catches the bluff. And Daryl has more chips added to his stack to show for it. 36K heading Daryl's way in profit. Joey now down to 130,000 chips. Daryl up to 178. Still nowhere near Vince's 452,000 chips. But Daryl is now in second place at this table. Joe up to 169. Joey at 130. Chance at 107. And Ruben still patiently waiting for the best two cards to get those 23,000 chips in the middle for his best shot at a double up. Joey putting on the shades. I like it. I like to see it. Joe wearing the shades the whole time. Ruben with the queen 10 decides this is the hand. This is the moment. Folds around. Ruben scoops the blinds. Another 12,000 chips headed his way. He's up to 35,000. Now he's got 4 big blinds in his stack. The math checks out on that. Starting out a hand with 3 big blinds. Scoop the blinds and go up to 4. Joey in seat 1. Looks like a fresh haircut right there. Wearing the glasses of destiny, maybe. Daryl sipping on the Diet Coke of destiny. On the button this hand. Vince, chip leader, will be first to act. Looks down at 6-3. Not a great hand. He's going to fold that one. Ruben, on the other hand, big slick, the old AK right there. He's going to shove 43,000 chips going into the middle. Joey with the Jack 10. Not likely to call, but if he does, may price in callers behind. And he folds. Daryl on the button with Jack 8. Folds as well. Chance with the Ace 10. May take a chance on this hand. And he does. Shoving his chips in over the top of Ruben's 43,000 chips. Joe folding the 5 deuce. What? Nah, I'm kidding. Of course you're going to fold there. And we are heads up. Ruben all in and at risk. Chance contributing about half of his stack into the middle. Flop comes out. Jack 7 deuce. Jack 10 would have been ahead here on this flop. There's an ace on the turn. Ruben makes top pair, top kicker. And improves to 93% equity. An 8 of hearts on the river seals it up for Ruben. And he locks up a full double up. 94K in chips for Ruben. Chance now crippled down to 56,000. Less than 10 big blinds for Chance. But he does get the button. That'll give him a couple of opportunities to find good cards, much like Ruben did just now. Hopefully they'll come his way. These chip stacks are changing by the moment, it feels like. 130,000 in Joey's stack now. Got the shades on. He is serious. Vince still the chip leader there. 452,000 chips. Joe at 161, Joey at 130, Ruben now up to 94K, getting close to that 100,000 chip mark, and Chance at 56,000 is the short stack, down to 7 big blinds. And here's a look again at our Permian Basin Poker Series. This is maybe one of the most exciting things to happen to Odessa Midland in a long time. I'm going to be honest. Our Texas Mini Main is coming up this weekend. 2 flights on Saturday, 2 flights on Friday, 2 regular flights on Saturday, and 1 turbo flight on Saturday evening. Ruben can't stop. Ace Jack right here under the gun, decides to put his chips in the middle. Looks like he's going to scoop the blinds here, chipping up just a little bit more, getting 12K added to his stack. And he shows the Ace Jack saying, yeah, I did this 3 times in a row, but I'm not messing around. Just getting a rush of cards. That was a quick hand. Onto hand number 12 here. Again, a lot of different events coming up here on our Permian Basin Poker Series. 2 flights Friday, 2 regular flights on Saturday, and a turbo flight Saturday evening starting at 10 p.m. with day 2 of our mini main starting us off on Sunday. 20K guaranteed in that. A small series within a series. After that, we'll have our Level Change Bomb Pots free roll tournament on Monday. The single rebuy on Tuesday, the 8th. Not a freeze-out, but pretty close. You get 1 rebuy. And then Wednesday, we've got our High Roller Championship. Certainly going to crush our guarantee on that High Roller. A lot of money and prizes coming up. Joey looking down at the Queen 6 under the gun. Is fairly short stack, does need to make a move. And Vince, it's not a true break. It's just long enough to, with the Ace King here. Get everybody seated in their positions. Yeah. He's going to make the call. A smooth call out of position against an aggressive player like Joey. Wearing the shades, no less. It looks like Vince trying to check in the dark. 10-6-5 is the flop. Vince slowing the gum chewing down, analyzing the situation. Checks. Joey bets. Vince says, I'm actually going to lay down this Ace King face up. And Joey chips up, adding a couple of chips to his stack. And here's a look at these chip stacks. By the way, Vince slowly losing some chips. Got a large amount out of a large pot. Hasn't been able to hit very hard since. But that is what happens. You win some, you lose some. Vince losing a couple of small pots, but winning the big pots. It's a good tournament strategy right there. Darryl, 174,000 in chips. Wasn't one of our shorter stacks. Now in second place here at the featured table. Joey up to 159. Joe at 157. Ruben at 98,000 now in the small blind. Darryl looks down at 9 deuce. Chance, the short stack with King 10 suited, is going to go for it. Rips his chips right in the middle. Joe folding next to act. Joey with the exact same hand, except offsuit, and the big blind. May decide to make a call here. High probability of a chop. Chance, though, free rolling, looking for spades. Joey requesting a count. Joey taking his time with the decision here. 48,000 chips to call. About a third of his stack would go into the middle if he makes this call. Hard to do when you're not holding an ace in your hand. And he does fold. And here we go. On to hand number 14. Chance with the ace-5 suited decides to shove once again. Some wheel cards, a suited ace under the gun, showing a lot of strength. Now, players next to act will likely call with the higher parts of their range, facing an under the gun raise like this. And most of these cards not really in the calling range, so Chance gets it through, shows it. And that was another quick one. On to hand number 15 here. I did actually get a window into the future. In about 10 minutes, we'll be down to our final table, the last 10 players of this tournament, with $12,600 in the prize pool. $4,500 going to first place, $3,400 going to second. We've got a nice prize pool here. I don't think I've clicked on this payouts tab here ever, so we'll see what happens if I do. Oh, I guess absolutely nothing. Okay, now we know. Joe looking down at the house hand. Oh, there it is. Look at this. 45-40 for first place. 34 even for second. That's what these players are fighting for. Joe with the house hand, the old KJ, the KoJack itself. Vince with pocket fours, going on a little set mining journey. Darrell with the king 6 and the small blind. A suited king goes into the muck, and Chance's 6-4 offsuit will join. I like Vince's aggressive route here, actually 3-betting pre-flop with his pocket fours. An ace 7-7 flop will scare Joe, but does not deter Vince. He bets. And Joe folds. Vince getting a very well-timed bluff through here. And chipping up as a result. Still the massive chip leader here at the table. 457,000 now in Vince's stack. Darrell second place at 162,000. Almost a third. A little better than a third of Vince's total chips. Joey at 147. Joe at 137. Ruben was the short stack at the table. Now up to 94. Second to last at the featured table. And Chance down to 72,000. Still less than 10 big blinds for Chance and just above 10 for Ruben. Vince looking down. Some not so great cards. Does fold them into the middle. Ruben with a pocket pair decides not to put all of his chips in the middle. Instead, raising it up to 18,000. Darrell with the pocket deuces. Throws those cards into the muck as well. Joe with the queen tray folds in the big blind. That means Ruben scoops those blinds and is now above 100,000 chips. And we are setting up the featured table in real time here. So in about 10 minutes, we will be full on our table. We'll be at the final table. In about 15 minutes from now, we'll start the action. Again, a small glimpse into the future. We're running on a 15-minute delay to check to keep the integrity of the game. But I know something's up when my co-pilot Chris here, the tech guru here at KoJack's, steps out of the booth. And then when he returns, I know something else is changing. Ruben looks down at the ace-queen of hearts under the gun here. Looking to get some value. Let's see how he approaches this one. With a raise, 22,000 is the raise this time. Almost 3x. And he shows face up once again, saying, I'm not messing around. I just keep getting good cards. Unfortunately, he keeps getting good cards when no other players have anything to call with. So he just rakes the blinds, but certainly not a bad thing this time of the tournament. Again, approaching the final table. We're at level 14. Vince still on top of the chip lead right now, 449,000 in his stack. He'll be in the small blind. Joey looking at 147,000. He'll be first to act under the gun pre-flop. Four tray in Joey's hand goes into the muck. 9 tray for Daryl. He folds as well. Joe with the queen 9 on the button. Could be a good hand to steal the blinds with, but instead, that leaves the door open for Vince to put in some chips. And he does make a raise. Ruben does make a call. 20,000 was the bet. So 40K in the middle here. Blind versus blind. Ace, 10, 8. Vince does hit a pair of 8s, but Ruben hits a pair of 10s. Vince betting. Ruben calling. Same $20,000 bet. A king of hearts on the turn gives Ruben 2 pair, but is a third Broadway card. Vince checks, Ruben shoves, and Vince folds. Ruben chipping back up over 150,000 chips in his stack now. Ruben, a very tight, very calculated player. Not a player to chip up if you have the choice. He is dangerous with those chips. As we've seen, Vince, very dangerous himself. A lot of aggression, a lot of well-timed aggression, but also knows when to fold. He was behind on that hand, got out before losing the maximum. Now Daryl, formerly one of our short stacks here at the featured table, will be under the gun. Daryl, 162,000 in his stack, about 20 big blinds. Not exactly the shortest stack, but not a very comfortable stack. Ruben at 158,000. Right at. Now the levels did increase, 5,000, 10,000. Making the math a little bit easier. Ruben at 15 big blinds, thereabouts. And he does make the call out of the small blind. 3 ways to this flop, 30K in the middle. Flop is king 9 deuce. Vince hitting a pair of 9s. Joey with a pair of deuces. And Ruben outkicked with his 9-6. Does lead out. Looks like 5,000. No, 10,000 is the bet. Joey going to call. Vince making the call as well with top pair. Best kicker of the 3 players. A jack on the turn. Another overcard to the board. Or to the pair of 9s, rather. And a 7 on the river. I wouldn't be surprised if this checks all the way around. Ruben initiating the first check. Joey calculating with those sunglasses on. Does check. And Vince elects not to get any additional value. Taking his showdown value. And chipping up. 60K in the middle, headed right towards Vince. 40,000 of that is profit. He's back up near 450,000 chips. About 45 big blinds. Hey, we got a couple of viewers in the chat. Hey, good to see you, everybody. Make sure to leave us a like, leave us a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, who you're cheering on. We've got a really cool featured table right now. But in a minute here, we've got quite the group of competitors going to be joining us for the final table. Once we get to 10 players total in the tournament, we will be running this table 10-handed. $12,000 in the prize pool. That's what these players are playing for. The inaugural event of our Permian Basin Poker Series. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We've got a lot of poker to talk about for tonight. Got a lot of interesting spots, I'm sure, on the way with a very mixed group of play styles. Even here, just at this featured table. Joe shoving in 125,000 chips with his pocket 5s. Joey with the ace-jack, a borderline hand. It is offsuit. That call would just about put him all in. He is the small blind. Won't have too many more opportunities. And it looks like he does reluctantly put his chips in the middle. Darrell with the 4 deuce getting out of the way. And we are all in once again. Joey all in, but Joe is at risk. And the flop comes out ace high and a jack to boot. Joey flops 2 pair, 92% to win this hand. Joe still looking for a 5. Both of the 5s are still live in the deck. A 2 on the turn is no help. And a queen of spades on the river. Joey wins this one with 2 pair. And Joe is eliminated. I believe that'll put us into our final table mode. Both of these players almost equally tied in chip stack. But it is Joey who covers Joe, and Joe is eliminated. An absolutely great showing from a great guy and a great poker player. A deep run into our first event of the Permian Basin Poker Series. $5K guaranteed freeze out. Total prize pool over $12,000. And speaking of Permian Basin Poker Series, we're going to be running today through the 13th, a spooky day to end our series on in October. Got Halloween just around the corner. Have you started decorating yet? You know, I don't know. I think the first is right about the earliest time that it's acceptable to start decorating for Halloween, though it is my favorite season as far as decorations are concerned. Here's a look at our schedule of events for the Permian Basin Poker Series 2024. Tomorrow we're going to be doing our No Limit Hold'em / Pot Limit Omaha level of each tournament. Now we're not doing PLO high-low, just PLO high. And that will be tomorrow starting at 6 p.m. If you're a fan of PLO or you're learning the game, that's a great tournament to jump on into. If you're familiar with Hold'em, you'll get a level of that. If you're familiar with PLO, you'll get a level of that. And we'll alternate Hold'em, PLO, all throughout the entirety of the day. Thursday, we'll be live streaming, I believe, the featured table of our $50 bounty tournament. You'll have me back in the booth, talking it up, chatting with you, talking about all this poker that we've got here. And maybe making some dinner plans. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got our mini main event. That will be awesome. Friday, 2 flights. Saturday, 2 regular flights. And an evening turbo flight where the levels are much faster than the standard tournament that we have here. Monday, free roll with level change bomb pots. I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm actually hoping I'm off. Maybe I'll be able to jump on into that. Would be pretty cool. Monday is usually the day that I work. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But we will be live streaming Mini Main Day 2. I believe we'll be live streaming the final table of that one. Day 2 of the Mini Main starting off at 3 p.m. on Sunday the 6th. And then we've got that free roll followed by a single rebuy tournament on Tuesday the 8th. Also looks like a pretty excellent tournament. Not a freeze out like we have today, but a cool tournament nonetheless. Rebuys usually loosen up the play early on in the tournament. Of course, if you're limited to 1 rebuy, or in the case of today's freeze out, 0 rebuys, you, of course, are going to play a lot tighter. Let me show you this, too. We got our trophies here. This thing's pretty cool. We've got the spade here. We've got the logo here, the colors here of KoJack's 2024 Deep Stack Freezeout Champion written there on the bottom. A nice little commemorative there for you to remember your deep run, your championship title of the Permian Basin Poker Series inaugural event. A lot of cool stuff. Now you can kind of see some of the players filtering into the table. We're getting chip counts. Got a dealer change going. I see some familiar faces. We're, of course, redrawing the seats. Vince was on the right-hand side of your frame, now sitting in seat number 2. Joey, standing by seat number 1, may have had the fortune of drawing the same seat. Of course, that will be TBD here in just a second. Final tables and tournaments are 10-handed here at KoJack's. So we will be running at max capacity for our table right here. I see a familiar face, Mr. Matt Register right there on seat number 10. It looks like Mr. Keikoa in seat number 7. Rolling some chips across the table. Always cool to see. We got Mr. Chance there switching seats in seat number 1 now. Looks like Joey taking a spot over there in seat number 5. You can tell by the sunglasses. But a lot of events, our main event is going to start on the 11th. This Friday, the mini main, 20K in guarantee. The main championship of our Permian Basin Poker Series starts Friday the 11th, $40,000 in total guaranteed prize money there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we surpass that by a pretty wide margin. $480 will get you a seat. Not a huge buy for such a large guarantee, but we do expect a huge turnout. Now, re-entry for the main championship will be half price, $240. Much like what we did for our Mystery Bounty tournament, wherein you buy one time at the full price and all subsequent buy-ins are 50% of the cost. It looks like that's what we're going to be doing again for our main championship. Now, look at the bottom there. That $1,000 all participants zero entry tournament starting off Sunday the 13th is going to be a madhouse. I'm calling it right now, an absolute madhouse. Anybody who plays any of the events for our Permian Basin Poker Series gets an entry into that $1,000 free roll. No entry cost, but also no re-entry for this tournament. The way to get a seat is to play in any of our other tournaments. Now, you don't have to bag or ladder up or anything like that. Just your entry in any of these tournaments is good enough to get you in to that zero entry tournament Sunday the 13th. Now, that'll start at 4 p.m. So if you don't make it to day 2 of the main championship at 3 p.m., we got a spot for you at the zero entry tournament. Now, it looks like our dealer tech here in the box getting ready to shuffle up, getting ready to pitch some heat. Button starts out in seat 10 with Mr. Matthew Register. And here's a look at the players, by the way, organized by Total Chip Stack. Chance in seat 1, Vince in seat 2, Mike in seat 3, MJ in seat 4, Joey moving over to seat 5, Billy in seat 6, Keikoa in 7, Ruben in 8, Daryl in 9, and Matt in 10. Vince still the runaway chip leader, 444,000 chips, almost 150% of Matt's chip stack. Matt in second place in seat 10 at 295, Joey at 254, MJ at 247, and KoJack's at 200,000. Chance still the short stack, not only of our featured table, but of the remainder of the tournament. Still needs to make a move, but he's got more opponents that could potentially call him, more customers for donation of chips if he does get the right cards. KoJack's with the ace-jack here is going to raise it up in the +4 spot. 20,000 to go. Chance, short stack, looks at the king-queen, and this is his hand. This is the opportunity he's been waiting for. Shoves the rest of his chips in the middle. 68K going into the pot. KoJack's needs to call another 48,000, just shy of a third of his remaining chips. And it looks like he does make the call. We're heads up. Chance is all in and at risk with the king and queen. KoJack's ace high is best at this moment, but not by much. 60% equity versus Chance's 40% equity. Tech organizing the board here, making sure the pot is correct, dealing out a flop. 8-7-5. KoJack's hand still best. The ace high is in the lead as of this moment. Chance's king-queen down to just kings or queens. Any 6 would give a chop. And the 10 on the river gives KoJack's the check mark. We have first blood of the final table. Chance in seat 1 eliminated. A great run for Mr. Chance. No stranger to our Permian Basin Poker Series. An absolutely great showing, some great poker from Mr. Chance. And now KoJack's has chipped up. We have our first elimination. And we are down to 9 players. 5 places are paid in this tournament, with 5th place picking up $880. 4th place at $1,500. And that is the next marker for these players. Vince, the chip leader, is the guy to beat at this table so far. 434,000 chips in his stack. Matt in second place, 295. KoJack's at 286. And Joey at 254. MJ not far behind at 247. And then we see those players breaking away from the pack there. Daryl next up at about 150,000. Mike is in this tournament here in the big blind. MJ with the ace-J raises it up to 24,000 chips. Daryl with the ace-10, 152K in his stack. About 15 big blinds, opts to look for a better spot. Mike with the 7-6 suited, getting a discount in the big blind, does make the call. Getting a little change back. 126,000 in Mike's stack. Picks up a pair of 7s. Mike's cards are red, but they are not diamonds. MJ betting his ace high, keeping the pressure on. Now, Mike did pair his 7s, which is one of the best things that can happen when you're playing 7-6. So he does stay aggressive, putting MJ to the test. MJ going to have a hard time calling this. Ace-Jack offsuit under the gun. Getting a count of the chips. MJ really thinking about it. Trying not to give off too much information. Are both of these players. Hand on the cheek, similar spots, similar posture. Mike all in and at risk if he were to get a call from MJ. And MJ folds. Mike chips up. Now over 200,000 chips in his stack. About 20 bigs. Joey putting the glasses back on. Time for serious business here. Now Mike is in the small blind. That'll put Joey, adorned with sunglasses, in the under the gun position. Joey at 254,000 chips. Ruben now the short stack at 138,000 chips. Just shy of 14 bigs. He's got a little bit of wiggle room. Got some fold equity to his stack, but not very much. May have to play the shove or fold game here for at least a little while before he can chip up, maybe scoop a couple of blinds, or perhaps get a full-on double up through the likes of Vince, our chip leader, or Matt in second place with just shy of 300,000 chips. Vince on the button with the Snowmen. He's going to raise it up to 25,000. MJ with the 10-8 does make the call out of the big blind. He'll play that 10-8 out of position. Flop comes 3-3 deuce. Vince's option, the pre-flop aggressor, does continue with the aggression, betting 30,000 in chips. MJ makes the call, a non-believer. Vince's hand far and away the best of the two. A king on the turn, an overcard to the board, does shut the action down. And a follow-up king should shut that action down even further. But any three now makes a full house. Let's see if MJ decides to take advantage of that. And MJ does put out a bet of 50,000, leaving only 88K behind. Vince with a bluff catcher here, but maybe not the best bluff catcher. Pocket eights. Beaten by any three. Beaten by any king. Beaten by any ace. And he does elect to fold. Oh, not true. Not beaten by any ace. Kings and eights. Either way, Vince does fold, and those chips go right on over to seat number 4 there for Mr. MJ. Vince now down to 374,000 chips. Still the chip leader, but his lead is dwindling. Matt at 295,000. In second place. Keiko at 286 in third, does fold the queen 10. Daryl with the ace 9, one of the shorter stacks at 152,000 chips. Looks like he puts out a raise. Mike with the ace 8 suited in position. As for a rough estimation of how much Daryl is playing. And Mike makes the call. MJ folds. Joey likely to get out of the way as well with his 8 deuce offsuit. Flop is all spades. Neither player holding a spade. King 7-6. 67,000 chips in the middle. Both players backdoor straight draws, but going to be hard to hit that. You may not even want to on that monotone board there. Check, check on the flop. Turn is an 8. Mike makes a pair. Daryl now up and down with his straight draw. Daryl checks. And Mike bets his pair. If Daryl didn't bet the flop, maybe he'll fold to a turn bet. But he does not. Both players off to a river. That ace gives Mike 2 pair and the check mark. And just enough showdown equity to check on the river. Mike chips up a little further, 113,000 chips in the middle there, headed right into Mike's stack, up to 268,000. Daryl now right around 10 big blinds, getting into that shove or fold territory. Button moves to MJ's position. That'll put Mr. Billy Ward in the big blind. One of the larger short stacks at 135,000 after committing his 10,000 in big blind. Keikoa first to act here. 10-8 offsuit, not going to be good enough. Ruben's ace-king, though, certainly good enough at least for a raise. 138,000 in Ruben's stack. He commits 30K into the middle. Daryl folding the king-10. A good fold by Daryl. Vince with the ace-4 of clubs does make the call. Mike folding the 3-4 suited. And Billy in the big blind, getting out of the way with the J7. Heads up to the flop, ace versus ace. Ruben at this point has Vince completely crushed, but a couple of clubs could change that. Flop comes out with a 9 and a jack and a 10. A 4 of hearts on the turn pairs Vince, giving Vince the lead. Ruben shoving the rest of his chips in the middle. And Vince with the soul read here. He's got the club draw. He's got the pair of 4s. He does call. Ruben all in and at risk. The queen of hearts on the river gives Vince the check mark and the pot. 291,000 more chips headed into Vince's stack. He's back up above 500,000 chips. And once again, the runaway chip leader here at our final table. This is the first event of the Permian Basin Poker Series. The 5K Freezeout. These players starting off with a deep stack. Vince, though, remaining deep stack. 527,000 chips in his stack. 52 and a half, thereabouts, big blinds. Matt, second place at 295. Third place, Keikoa, right behind him at 286. And Mike, right behind that at 268. Ruben eliminated in ninth place. A great poker player, a great guy, and a great run here on the first event of our Permian Basin Poker Series. Vince now with the ace-4 folding to Matt's bet of 20,000. Matt with the ace-queen. The ace-quisha. Joey with the Jack-10 coming along for the ride on the button. He does have position. He does have suited connectors, and he does have at least one face card. Keikoa pocket 7s in the big blind. Also one of the big stacks here. And we are 3 ways to the flop. A lot of chips in each of these players' stacks. We could see a massive pot. Wow, and we are likely to see just that. Keikoa hitting a set of 7s. He smooth checks in flow. Matt not making a pair, not making a flush draw with his ace-queen. He gets out of the way by checking. And Joey cuts out a couple of chips for a bet. It's like 17,000 chips. Got a quarter pot size bet. Keikoa is set at 7s. Could do some check raising here if he thinks he's up against a king or a flush draw. Nope, a smooth call. And Matt, just one overcard to the board, does fold. We're down to 2. On the turn, 99,000 chips in the middle. Keikoa hits quads. Another 7 on the turn. Keikoa likely to slow down, check this over here. Give Joey a little more rope. Joey does check. And there's a 9. One of those situations where it's just going to be hard for KoJack's to get any more value. Not only does he have so much of that board locked up with the absolute nuts, but as we can see, Joey just really isn't holding anything. KoJack's may size a bet to target something like kings. Pocket 9 is not a very likely possibility to get to this river. KoJack's does cut out a large bet, 130 it looks like. Joey not going to be able to call this with just jack high. He did river a straight draw. That's not going to help him in this case. And Joey makes the fold. KoJack's shows the quads. And KoJack's chips up now above 300,000 in chips. 348 to be exact. Catching up. KoJack's now in second place on our final table in event number 1 of the Permian Basin Poker Series. Button moves to Billy Ward. KoJack's now in the small blind. That'll put Matt first to act, 275,000 in Matt's chip stack. Vince almost doubling that at 527. Will be next to act. Matt folds. Vince away from the table, folds a 7-3. Good time to take a break. Mike with the pocket kings in the +2 spot. He's going to raise. MJ looks like he's going to call. Oh, never mind. Mike limps. MJ calls. Joey all in with his pocket 9s. Unfortunately decimated by Mike's exact holding here. The pocket Cowboys. Getting an exact count of these chips. Joey with the sunglasses on, not giving anything away. It's going to be hard for Mike to fold here. Near impossible. And he does make the call. MJ folds. And now Joey is all in and at risk. We've seen 3 eliminations so far at this final table. We may be witnessing the 4th. Our dealer Tech here, one of my favorite dealers. Great poker player in his own right. Stacking up the chips, making sure the pots are correct. Mike way ahead here, pre-flop, 81%. About a 4-1 favorite for this. 9-5-4. Joey does it again, flopping a set. There's an ace on the turn. Mike dead to just 1 of 2 remaining kings. 66K in his stack if he loses this pot. And it's a jack on the river. Joey doubles up to 444,000 chips. Now second at our final table here. KoJack's pointing out that they're all my favorite dealers. Yep. You're right. And that's one of the things that we've got at KoJack's. We've got some exciting poker action every single day of the week. And we've also got some of the best dealers, at least some of my favorite dealers. Got great players here, really know the game as well. A lot of sportsmanship around the table here. And yeah, the dealers, they're great. Look at this. Here's another one of my favorite dealers, Kevin, jumping into the box. Wearing almost the exact same hoodie that I am wearing literally right now. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that last comment from KoJack's for now. J.A. Valley saying, hey, way to go, Joey. Yes, sir. Joey now second in chips, doing very well here at this final table. The first event of our Permian Basin Poker Series. All right, now I'll get to that other comment. That's right. Coming soon, the Stinky Fish Challenge. If you don't know what that is, I guess you'll have to tune in and find out. Coming soon, Chase and Charlie are going to be eating some crazy foods once again. This time, I guess it's a Swedish delicacy. I don't know. Some stinky fermented fish coming out of a can, going into my mouth, and then coming out of my mouth into a trash can as I vomit. It's going to be kind of a mess here. I'll be honest, not looking forward to that. I'm a little more nervous about that one than the spicy chip challenge that we did a couple of months ago, I guess now. Stinky fish challenge. No bueno. But hey, we do it for you. So let us know, who is your favorite for the stinky fish challenge? You think Charlie's going to handle it better than Chase? Or do you think the other way around? Type 1 in the chat if you want to see us eat that stinky fish. Type anything else in the chat if you don't. Please type anything else. Oh, man. Yeah, not going to be great. Not going to be great, but hey, we're going to do it. KoJack's Poker Club, what is that, 15 ones. Okay, I guess we're doing it. I'll try just about anything once. That Stinky Fish Challenge falls into that category if I really don't want to try it once. And look at this. Mike now all in with the Jack 9. Billy with the pocket 9s. Jack 9 is off suit. The 2 diamonds. Oh, there's a jack on the turn. Mike now way ahead. And does get the double up through Billy, who is now crippled, down to 64,000 chips. Basically exchanging chip stacks here. Mike up to 157, Billy down to 64. Vince still the chip leader. Very nicely arranged chips, might I add, in front of Vince. Almost like he's been there before. $560,000 chips in first place. Joey at 444. Keikoa at 338. MJ at 233. And Matt not far behind at 220. Now Billy is the short stack at 64,000 chips. And blinds have gone up 10K, 15K. Billy down to just 4 big blinds. Daryl not much better at about 5. Both players really need to make a move here, and soon. MJ with the pocket 3s, putting out a smooth call. KoJack saying, yeah, that turn set of 10s really put Vince on the right track. You ain't lying. He pulled way ahead after that hand and has not lost the lead since. Now Vince is looking down at the ace-queen in the small blind. He's got Daryl, the short stack, shoving right before him with the queen 10. Vince absolutely dominating this hand. Way ahead, about a 3-1 favorite here. Vince, the chip leader after that set of 10s. Looking to eliminate another player here. Jack 7. No help to Daryl. Daryl is up and down here. A 9 or an ace will do it for him. But the 4 of diamonds, not one of the cards that Daryl needs, and he is eliminated. We have our next elimination at the final table here. 4 players have moved on. That puts us down to the final 6. We are officially on the money bubble, everybody. We have done it. Great game, Daryl. Absolutely great game. Daryl always shows up playing his best poker. An absolute gentleman at the table and an absolute shark in a hand. Fantastic player, fantastic guy, and a fantastic run here at the first event of our Permian Basin Poker Series here at KoJack's. Uh-oh. There will be blood on this hand. Joey with the pocket jacks under the gun calls. Billy with pocket tens. Looks like he might fold. Nope, he goes all in. That call from Joey under the gun was a little bit suspicious. Oh, it was a raise to $55,000. Okay. A little less suspicious in that case. Folds around. Billy all in for $64K. Mike with the suited king is also fairly short stacked. Less than 10 big blinds. He is in the small blind. He decides he wants to gamble. We are on the money bubble right now. Mike with the suited king, 7 of spades. MJ with the 5 deuce in the big blind. Almost certainly going to fold his hand. And Joey makes the call. Joey the favorite on this hand, but only 45% equity to win. 55% equity now that we have the fold out of MJ. Only about a coin flip to win this hand 3 ways. Great odds 3 ways, but still only about a 55% chance to win the hand outright. Joey does have both other players covered. If Joey wins the hand, Billy will go out in 6th place, and Mike will go out in 5th, taking a prize down of $880. One of my favorite dealers there. Kevin getting an absolutely correct chip count here, just making sure that all the pots and side pots are correct. Joey playing both the main and the side pot. Mike and Joey playing the side pot, and Billy all in for the main. 64,000 of his chips are at risk. 8-8 deuce is the flop. Joey still ahead with his overpair. A 3 of hearts on the turn. No help to Mike. And a queen of clubs does give Joey the check mark. Billy next out, followed by Mike. Ron Mann seeing he sees 7 left. Perhaps I have miscounted. I'll tell you something, Ron. These graphics do jump all over the place. Sometimes it's tough for me to keep track. So I do appreciate you jumping in there, telling me what's what. But I do see 5 players now that 2 are left. GG Billy and GG Mike, says the official account of the KoJack's Poker Club. Absolutely true. Mike, also a fantastic gentleman at the poker table. Quick with a joke and excellent at building chip towers. Billy, a very strong poker player. Plays a lot of tournaments and a lot of cash. Smart guy to boot. A very tough competitor. And J.A. Valley saying, yeah, whoa! I believe that's Joey's father. A nice guy I've had the pleasure of meeting at least one time. And Joey, I believe now our chip leader. Vince up to 675,000. Oh, it is close. Joey up to 665,000. So Vince still ahead, but not by much. We have 5 players left. All 5 players have cashed. Ron Mann saying, Joey would be on the rail if he were playing. That sounds like shots fired. We may have to arrange a live streamed heads-up game. Matt with the ace-jack high on this hand. MJ with the 10-8 high. A 9 gives Matt the check mark on the river. I do. I hear a heads-up challenge, too. I'm telling you, I would be there to live stream the whole thing. You tell me a time, I'll tell you the place right here at KoJack's, and we'll make it happen. Five players remain. All five players in the money. 880 going to fifth place. The next player eliminated. MJ just committed highway robbery. He's got larceny on the mind, to quote the great Reese. Here's a look at the payouts. Fifth place, 880 now that we're in the money. Next up, 1510. Pretty large ladder there, almost $700 between fifth and fourth place. MJ with Queen 8 up against Joey's 7 tray. All red flop, but 2 diamonds. Only gives Joey the backdoor flush draw. He's still looking for a 7 or a 3. That 8 of spades on the turn gives MJ the pair and the check mark. MJ bets. 20,000, fairly small bet. Joey going to have a hard time calling this one here. He does hold 4 pink chips in his hand, but puts them back down and throws his cards into the middle instead of those chips. That'll put Joey in the small blind, Keikoa in the big, and Matt first to act. The final 5 here at our Permian Basin Poker Series, event number 1. A lot of poker to come in this coming couple of weeks here with our Poker Series. A lot of cool events, too. A lot of interesting twists. MJ with the pocket 9s keeps getting hands. Reese, good to see you in the chat, my friend. Saying larceny is just a great word for good poker play. It means taking of another person's property with the intent to permanently deprive them of it. Indeed. Take someone's chips, lock them up. That's absolutely larceny. Textbook larceny. MJ raising it up to 35K with his pocket 9s on the button. Joey making the call with Jack 8 offsuit. Keiko with the King Queen. We'll be playing this one in middle position post flop if he decides to call. Getting a small discount out of the big blind. Another 20,000 more will get him 3 more community cards, and he does throw his chips in the middle, making the call. 3 ways to the flop, 105K in the middle. Joey, one of the large stacks here at the table, looking to chip up through one of his opponents. Flop comes out ace 7-6. MJ still best, but Keikoa 2 overcards to the board. Checks around. Get to the turn. A5 comes off. MJ now with the gutter ball. Joey up and down. Does check. Keikoa still 2 overcards to the board. To most of the board. That ace, of course, is higher than Keikoa's King-Queen. He checks. MJ, pocket 9s, still the best hand so far. He's going to bet for value. If nobody's betting the ace on the flop, he's in it 3 ways on the turn. Maybe a little feeler bet out there. Seeing if anybody really does want this pot. And it looks like Joey's cutting out a call. Nope, it's a raise. An absolutely well-timed raise here. Great show of aggression. This bet here absolutely exuding strength. That'll get Keikoa to fold. Joey, though, only semi-bluffing. He is up and down. Could make a straight. MJ holding 2 of the 9s that Joey would need to make that straight. MJ wondering what Joey could be check raising this turn with. And MJ folds. And that puts Joey in first place here in our final table. 750,000 chips, 750,000 chips. By our count, about 2.1 million chips in play. Joey getting close to half of the chips in play here. Five-handed. Keikoa at Queen 7. Matt with the Ace 9 shoves all in and scoops the blinds. Gets his big blind back. Commits a small blind. Levels are up to 10K, 20K. Now that we're five-handed, this stack graphic doesn't pop up for a very long amount of time. Matt, just 9 big blinds, 180,000 in his stack. MJ, about 10 big blinds at 200,000 chips. And Keikoa, 283. Joey, of course, at the top of the leaderboard here, 750. Vince, dethroned from the chip leader. Still not too far behind, though. 30,000 chips in the pot before anything happens. Keikoa on the button with Queen Jack. Realizes it's his time to strike. Raises it up to 40K. Vince in the big blind with a pocket pair. Does make the call. Heads up to the flop. There's a queen. Queen 8 deuce. Keikoa pulls ahead. Almost a lock on this hand. Vince now dead to 6s. Only one of them are remaining in the deck. Keikoa. Black hood on. Black sunglasses underneath that hood. Bets out 30,000. Vince with a pocket pair has to decide, does Vince hold a queen? And he does make the call. No, he raises. 75,000 is the bet. Keikoa has just been check raised on the flop with top pair, decent kicker. I was wondering if Vince may be a better queen or a worse queen. Keikoa wondering, would Vince raise pre-flop with a pocket pair of 8s? Would he call with a pocket pair of deuces? Maybe he's playing the big blind special. Maybe he's got the Queen 8. 2 pair would beat Keikoa's actual holding. And Keikoa makes the call. Still heads up, now off to the turn. 240,000 in the middle. A king comes off on the turn. This time actually an overcard to the board. Check, check. Vince far behind. The final queen will give Keikoa the check mark and trips. If Vince wants to continue telling his story, he may have to bet at this. And he does. Bets 100,000. Keikoa calls immediately. And Keikoa with the check mark. Now over 500,000 in chips. Keikoa dragging that large pot. He is now in second place. Joey, 750,000. Keikoa, 500,000. Vince dropping down to third place, but still about 23 big blinds in his stack. MJ down to about 10 bigs, and Matt down to about 9 bigs. Moving on to hand number 37 in play here. Vince now with the Jack 9 in the small blind, raising it up a little bit, putting a little pressure on the short stack MJ. MJ calls with a suited Jack. Vince is way ahead for now. King 10-9 monotone. All diamonds. Vince with the Jack of diamonds bets out 20,000 and gets MJ to fold. Vince chipping back up, now up to 500K. About 25 bigs. And the chip stack graphic, there it is. It's going to blink. There it goes. Just like that. Vince now with the pocket kings on the button. Going to raise it up to 40,000. Standard raise size. Joey with the queen 6 suited does come along. Heads up to the flop. Big blind versus button. 90K in the middle. 6-4 tray. Joey makes a pair of sixes. Still a 3-1 dog to Vince's kings. And Vince bets out. Looks like another 40K. Joey makes the call. 170,000 now in the middle. Vince is covered by Joey. 8 of hearts gives Joey the flush draw and a pair of sixes. Likely to be undeterred by this bet of 60,000 from Vince. And does make the call all the way to the river. If it's a heart, Joey gets the check mark. It's an 8 instead. Vince gets the check mark with his pocket kings, pair of 8s on the board, and a 6 kicker. Check, check on the river. Vince chipping up, now up to 650,000. Does pass Joey up. Vince, once again, the chip leader, now at 650K. Joey down to 610, and Keikoa in third place at 500,000. Matt down to 180, and MJ down to 150. Blind still 10K, 20K. Vince. Pocket kings last hand down to the dirty diaper, the old tray deuce. He does fold. And we've seen our first walk of the final table. Keikoa with the king 10 of clubs. No takers. The button moves. Matt now one of the shorter stacks. Actually 160,000 in his stack after committing 20K to the big blind. Will have to make a move very soon. Vince with the 5-4 of spades. 20K to call. MJ with the pocket 9s. Will likely call, if not raise. Could shove all in. Great candidate for a position like this. Instead, MJ just smooth calls, letting Matt see a free flop with his king tray. MJ spiking a set here. Ace on the turn will give MJ the check mark. Going to be difficult to get a lot of value from this hand with that 6 on the river. Any 7 makes a straight. MJ bets 25K. And he gets the pot. Now up to 180,000 chips, 183,000 chips. There's our tournament director for the day, Mr. Jason. Coloring up some of the chips at the table. Making it a little easier on our dealers. Queen 5 for MJ into the muck. Not the hand that he's going to try to double up with. Keikoa on the button, 10-6 suited. He folds. Matt with the ace-queen going all in. Vince not going to be able to call that one with the 3-deuce. And Matt scoops the blinds. Matt now up to 180K once again. MJ just above that at 183,000 chips. Now Vince with the house hand, the old KJ in the small blind. Matt with the 10-9 suited goes all in. This is his hand, his moment. And he gets a caller out of Vince. 2 overcards to Matt's 10-9. MJ with a pair of 6s. An all in and a call ahead of him. Kind of a tough spot. Throws the 6s away. Heads up to the flop. Vince a small favorite to win this one. There's a 10. Matt pulls ahead. Another 7 on the turn. And an 8 on the river gives Matt the check mark and the full double up. He's up to 380,000 chips now. Vince down to 450K. Still a decently healthy. See if I can click on this graphic quick enough for it to pop up more than 1 second this time. Ah, here it comes. Joey up to 600K is still the chip leader. MJ now down to 163. The short stack just over 8 big blinds. And is now in the small blind position. Keikoa first to act here pre-flop. A tray. He's going to fold. Matt with some newfound chips pitches the 9-3 into the muck. And we've got our second walk of the featured final table. Kevin shuffling up here. The first event of our Permian Basin Poker Series 2024 edition. Starting things off with the deep stack freeze out. We're down to our final 5 players. MJ with the ace-9. $20K to call. He raises to 40. No customers. MJ scoops the blinds. Kind of a button steal there. Ace-9, kind of borderline stealing hand versus value hand. Hand number 45 on the books. Vince under the gun, Queen 8 suited. Good enough to throw out a raise. The standard open seems to be about 2x right now. Matt with the Queen 6 suited is dominated. About a 2-to-1 dog for Matt in the small blind. He will have to play this hand out of position. A king comes out on the flop. Both players flopping 2 pair, queens and 5s. Vince with the better kicker bets out 20K. The min bet. Matt coming along. Top pair. A lot of chop opportunities here. Another 5 does give the chop. Let's see if Matt decides to shove. Well, it looks like a bet of 50,000. Vince makes the call. Both players chop up the blinds, adding about 5K each. On to hand number 46. Still showing a lot of viewers, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is the first event of our Permian Basin Poker Series. 5K guaranteed deep stack freeze out. Total prize pool made it up to just over $12,000. We've got 5 players remaining in this tournament. Next player out will cash a cool $880, up to $1,510 for fourth place, $2,270 for third, $3,400 for second, and $4,500 for first. Joey with the King 9 suited. Kind of like a pit bull today. I think the K9 hand is the pit bull. Not to be confused with Mr. Worldwide. Joey bets out 110, it looks like. Vance with the King Queen suited here. Folds. Decides he doesn't want to play that hand out of position. And Joey now with so many chips that he's separated them by color. Pink to his left, yellow to his right. We do have 3 chips, 3 chip colors in play. Yellow ones are worth 1,000. Pink ones are worth 5,000. And black ones are worth 25,000. Matt raising it up to 50K with his King 10 offsuit. MJ making the call with a pocket pair of 3s. Joey the old K7 suited. In some ways a mathematical favorite hand. Compared to random junk. And in this case, certainly not doing too bad. No pair, but nut flush draw for Joey. MJ's pocket tray is not looking so great right now. Got a running wheel draw. Not much going else for him. He checks. Joey checks as well. Matt checks his pair of 10s. And there's a 4 of spades on the turn, giving Joey the flush, but pairing the board. MJ checks. Not dead yet. And Joey bets 65K. Matt, second pair. A pair of 10s. A thinking player is going to analyze the action. Raising an eyebrow as he puts the puzzle pieces together. Trying to analyze Joey's play style, Joey's position versus Matt's exact holding here. And MJ folds, as does Matt. Joey chips up even further. Joey, the chip leader, once again. I'm showing 740,000 in Joey's stack. Second place, Keikoa up to 478,000. Vince in third place at 425. MJ at 133. We are on a 10-minute break here. Just enough time for us to color up those yellow chips. Looks like Jason passing out a couple of black chips in lieu of some of those pinks. We'll be down to 2 different chips in play. The yellow ones are going away. Pink ones worth $5,000 and black ones worth $25,000. What you're watching here behind the scenes is a race-off. When you remove chips from play, you have to round the difference and award them fairly to players. So we use the high card method to do that in tournaments. And this is event number 1 of our Permian Basin Poker Series. That's going to be going on all of October, at least the first half. The second half, we'll call it part 2 unofficially. But we will have our last event Sunday the 13th. But with this many events, it's gonna feel like something's missing when we go to the 14th of October. Today is the Deep Stack Freezeout. The first event, 5K guarantees. We made it up to $12,600 in the prize pool for today. Pretty good sign of things to come. I'm expecting some very large prize pools for the rest of the series. Tomorrow, we've got our level of each tournament. A Hold'em tournament with a twist, or maybe you prefer a PLO tournament with a twist. Either way, we're alternating between Hold'em and PLO for each level. And then on Thursday, we've got our bounty tournament, $50 for each player that you knock out. We'll have a 5K guarantee on that. $200 will get you a seat on that, and that'll start on Thursday at 6 p.m. Bounty tournaments are usually really, really popular here. We were doing them on Saturdays, but now with this series, we're switching things up. Friday will begin our mini main. We've got 2 flights running on Friday, 2 regular flights running on Saturday, and then we've got our turbo flight running Saturday evening at 10 p.m. Come check us out. Friday and Saturday, those flights are beginning at 2 p.m. The second flight will begin at 6 p.m. And, of course, the turbo flight on Saturday evening at 10 p.m. $200 for any of those flights will get you a chair. And that is half of what you need. A chip and a chair is all you really need to win the tournament. $200 will get you both. Cody asking if there is an ad for tomorrow's tournament. I am all but certain we have an ad. About 90% sure. Let me see if I can find out for you, buddy. Monday, next Monday, actually it looks like one of the tournaments I am looking forward to most. I don't know why. I think it's just crazy enough to work. Maybe that's why. A free roll with level change bomb pots. Double board PLO bomb pots. Cody, yes, there will be an ad for tomorrow's tournament. Oh, wait a second, I looked at the wrong thing. Because it's after midnight. Today is actually tomorrow. Cody, retract my last answer. No, there will not be an add-on for tomorrow's tournament, which is technically today's tournament. Event number 2. The 5K guaranteed, level of each, PLO and Hold'em. No ad in the middle of that tournament. But on Thursday, we will have an ad for the $50 bounty tournament. Again, a really popular tournament that we've been running on the weekends. Now we've shifted it up, moved it over to Thursday. Same $50 bounty. Should be really, really cool. And speaking of really cool, check this out. We got some trophies coming up. We got this really, really cool, taste of West Texas. Try and angle it properly here. Pump jack. And you can see it actually moving around. Not a perpetual motion pump jack. It is battery operated, I believe. A little button here to turn it on and off, but you can see it actually working. Talk about a cool trophy right there. Finished in gold. Very cool to see. And nope, it's been taken from me. Never mind. I was going to show off the trophy that is up for grabs for today. We looked at it earlier. Very cool looking spade shape. It's got the custom KoJack's logo on it, some custom colors on there as well. We've got that kind of teal color that we are so well known for. And then, need I say more? We've got a donkey. We've got a donkey trophy. And how you win that is by losing. I don't want to give away too many of the details, but pretty cool right there. That is one of the trophies that's up for grabs. We've got the Permian Basin, I believe the main event trophy right here, the pump jack. Winning the whole thing will get you that one. And then our donkey trophy, losing the whole thing will get you that one. Pretty fun. Players are starting to trickle back in. We were on a 15-minute break. And now it looks like players are trickling back in, getting ready. And there we go. One of my favorite dealers, Joey, now in the box. Blinds have gone up 15K, 30K. MJ, first hand back from break. Good enough for him to shove, all in. King 5 suited in the small blind. 145,000 chips of his go into the middle. Does not get a caller from Joey with the sunglasses on. MJ chips up. MJ up to 175,000 in chips. About 6 big blinds. Not a whole lot to work with. Not a whole lot of fold equity, but he did get Joey to fold his hand on that last round. Now Matt under the gun with 10 deuce. Vince, King Jack off suit. He's going to throw out a raise to 60K. And there is the Permian Basin Poker Series trophy right there. That is up for grabs today. MJ with the Jack 4 folds, but Joey with the AK shoves all in, and he does cover the entirety of the table. Our chip leader putting the ultimate pressure on the rest of the table. Vince, no choice but to fold. He is far behind Ace King. Now Vince down to 355,000 in chips. Not the short stack at the table, but is getting closer. And what is this? Vince with the King Jack again, this time under the gun. He raises once again, 40K. Maybe it looks like a call. Maybe it's a raise. Vince exposing a card. Unorthodox play. Looks like Keikoa is still in the hand. Maybe some debate about what the intent was here. 60,000 is the raise by Vince, who did expose it. Looked like a king. Keikoa, King 9. Again, the pit bull today. Calls 45,000. As does Matt with the 10-4 offsuit. Got a little gamble in him here on this hand. Ace-10 tray of clubs. Vince, his non-exposed card, the Jack of clubs, does give Vince the flush draw. The backdoor royal draw. Oh, a 7 of clubs on the turn gives Vince the check mark. Vince betting out 60K. Keikoa without a club here. Has to decide if he believes Vince or not after Vince exposes the card. Turns over the other one. And now we're moving on. Hand number 51 here. Matt, one of the shorter stacks here in the small blind. 250K in his total stack. MJ with a tray. Under the gun is the short stack. It looks like he puts his chips in the middle. Joey is suited 9-4. Cannot make the call. Keikoa with the ace-8 offsuit. Trying to evaluate whether he wants to try to eliminate an opponent or save his chips. He opts for the latter and saves his chips. MJ is not all in. Just makes the call. Matt flops a flush draw with his 7-3 suited. MJ with the wheel draw, looking for a 5. A non-spade 5. And Vince folds. A jack of spades will do it for Matt, but MJ does hold the ace of spades. Matt bets. MJ shoves. Matt calls. And the river, a queen of hearts. Matt gets the check mark. MJ is eliminated in 5th place, scooping a cool $880. Congratulations to MJ. A great guy, a great poker player, wearing some pretty wacky looking socks up there too. Now we're down to just the final 4 here. Keikoa now the short stack, 390,000 chips. Vince at 430,000 chips. Matt 470 after knocking out MJ. And Joey still the chip leader, 765. Sorry, 795. But he is in the big blind. Joey committing 30,000 in chips. Keikoa looking at pocket nines under the gun. Vince with the pocket fives goes all in. Facing Keikoa's raise head on. Joey does hold an ace. Joey is the big stack. Joey folds. Keikoa now with a decision. A decent pocket pair for Keikoa, pocket nines. Does he want to coin flip? Potentially up against ace-king, ace-queen? Is he against a higher pocket pair, tens or jacks? Queens, kings? Or is he up against exactly what he's up against now? A lower pocket pair. Vince's pocket fives. Keikoa is shorter in terms of chips than Vince. Keikoa would be all in and at risk if he were to make the call. Vince covers, but only barely. Keikoa agonizing over this decision here. We know he's a huge favorite to win this hand, about 4-1. But there are many possible hands for Vince to be holding that he'd be beating Keikoa with. Vince in the small blind. Might even do this with a weak ace, in which case Keikoa would be way ahead. And he does make the call. Vince shows the pocket fives, gets the bad news. Eight, nine, deuce on the flop. Keikoa spikes a 9. Not much left for Vince. That queen of spades on the turn will give Keikoa the check mark. Vince now crippled. Going from chip leader at our featured table all the way down to short stack here at the final table. After Keikoa hits a set of 9s on the flop. $810,000 chips in the middle, all going to Keikoa. That puts him at the top of the chip count leaderboard. Vince left with just scraps, $55K. But he does get the button. He'll have at least a couple hands to choose from before he's forced to put in 30,000 chips for the big blind. Matt right in the middle of the pack there, 470,000 chips. We are down to 4 players. Winner takes down $4,140 and the trophy. Four-handed play late in the tournament. A lot of time for thinking. A lot of folding going on between these players who've been playing against each other all day today. Vince with the 6-5 suited decides this is the hand. Joey with the suited ace and the chance to eliminate another player does make the call. Keikoa suited jack goes into the muck. Matt getting a good price. Does make the call with the 8 tray off suit out of the big blind. Vince all in and at risk, looking for spades, and gets one of them. 7 deuce deuce. Joey hitting trips. And an ace gives Joey the boat and the check mark. Another ace. Joey goes from trips to deuces full to aces full on the river. And Joey knocks out Vince, taking down a cool prize of $1,500. Congratulations, Vince. One of my favorite dealers, excellent sense of humor, and a great poker player in his own right, making a very deep run, taking 4th place in our Permian Basin Poker Series inaugural event, the Deep Stack Freezeout. And then there were 3. 845,000 chips in Joey's stack, 810 in Keikoa. Matt down to about half of that at 385,000 chips. Blinds up to 30K. Matt committing the small blind of 15,000. Joey in the big blind checks his option. Heads up to the flop, 60K in the middle. Matt bets, Joey folds. 2 spades on that flop. No pair for either player. Vince in the chat, my man, saying GG's. Yes, sir. Well played, my friend. Absolutely great run in a, I'll just say it like this, not so easy tournament. Matt on the button. First to act now, pre-flop, when we're 3-handed. Queen Jack, good enough for him to raise it up to 60K. Joey with the 6-9. Does fold. Happen to play a lot of 6-9 in cash games, but this is not the time to be messing around with those shenanigans. Keikoa flops deuces full here. Matt with the Queen Jack does continue the aggression. Bets 30,000 on the flop. Keikoa puts together a call. Matt all but dead. That 3 locking it up for Keikoa. This pot is his if we get 2 showdown. Keikoa checks again. Matt closing his eyes, visualizing a bet and a fold from Keikoa. It's not going to happen. Matt bets 120 this time. Keikoa, the chip leader, now trying to find a way to get the rest of Matt's stack in the middle. Is it by call or is it by shove? Keikoa elects to shove. Matt elects to fold. 1 million chips in the middle there. Counting Keikoa's all-in bet there on the turn. Matt folds. Matt down to 205,000 chips and is in the big blind, 15K, 30K for at least another couple of minutes. Joey with the ace-8 of spades. Keikoa with the king-5 of hearts. Joey first act, pulling out a couple of black chips here. Looks like a raise, 75,000. Keiko with the suited king does fold. Matt with the 3-4 gets out of the way, and Joey chips up even more. 875,000 chips in his stack. Keikoa over $1 million. A new dealer coming on in after this hand, it looks like. Keikoa, the 8 tray here. Offsuit. Folds. Matt with the 8-7. Does make the call. Joey raises, putting Matt all in, looks like. And Matt does fold. Joey chipping up once again, getting near $1 million chips. Matt now the short stack. Less than 200,000 chips in his stack. Both of his opponents right around $1 million chips. Matt has a lot of work to do if he wants to catch up. But it's not over yet. Matt with the queen jack once again. Who's shuffling these cards? It looks like he goes all in. Joey with an ace makes the call. Keikoa with a suited queen does not decide to call. Joey, a small favorite to win this hand. King 5 tray of diamonds. Matt certainly not dead. He's got the jack of diamonds. A deuce on the turn. Gives Joey the wheel draw. And an 8 on the river. It's good enough to eliminate Matt in third place, taking down $2,270. And I'm actually going to be joined here by our aforementioned tech guru, Chris.
Hello out there, everybody.
Not only one of my favorite dealers, but one of my favorite people. One of my favorite, what do you call it, pit masters?
I don't know that I'm necessarily a master, but I can definitely run a pit.
Oh, I've tasted it. It is master level, 100%.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We had a cook-off about a year and a half ago, maybe, and I teamed up with one of the dealers that was here at the time. Has since moved on, Josh, and we ended up winning that thing.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about right there.
It was good times.
What categories did you enter? You did brisket?
So it was brisket. We had pork. We did a pork butt. We had turkey and dessert.
You know, I think turkey is underrated on the pit.
Turkey. So I used, like Thanksgiving, I used to just like eat whatever turkey was people were bringing or whatever. I didn't really cook my own. And then my family started doing the fried turkeys.
Ooh, yeah, those are good.
So for about 15 years, like it was we'd get together as like a whole group, and we would fry 15 or 20 turkeys. Everybody take one back to their families. We get together for big extended family Thanksgiving thing and have all the turkey you can eat.
That's like a week's worth of work to me to do in one day. It sounds like.
Oh, it was a blast. And we still get together. We still do some turkey frying. But about 6 years ago, I got my first smoker.
Ooh.
And that Thanksgiving, I decided I was gonna try smoking a turkey. And I think I've only fried like 4 turkeys since then.
You never look back.
It is a different world of turkey for sure.
I love it. Yeah, and they come out juicy too.
They do.
A lot of people complain that turkey's dry. I say you haven't had it cooked right.
Yeah, exactly. If it's dry, it's just because you didn't do it right.
Yep. Neither of these players dry in terms of chips here. It's both sitting around 1 million chips. Joey with the pocket threes. Keikoa with the jack 8 of clubs. Keikoa raising it up here. An even match for now. We've seen these chips flying all over the place, so who knows what's going to happen. 8-6 deuce on the flop. Keikoa making top pair. No clubs for him. Does Joey smoke? Is he a pit master as well? Is he a smoker too?
I'm not really sure.
I kind of think I remember him talking about brisket or something one time.
It would not surprise me to find out that he was
Yeah, I said smoker earlier. That was not the right word for that.
Yeah, my doctor asked me once if I smoked, and I said sure, and he says how often?
Oh dear.
About twice a week. What? Are you talking like marijuana? Are you talking like tobacco? I'm like, no, I'm talking like brisket. And
Even
pork.
better. I'm talking about beef.
Exactly.
A queen of clubs on the turn here. 250,000 chips in the middle. Already $250,000 in the pot. Both players starting out right around 1 million chips. Both players very accomplished as well. Keikoa getting the check mark with that king of spades on the river. Could shut the action down, though, completing a potential flush. Hard to make a pair heads up, but really difficult to make a flush.
I think if a smaller card comes out there, I think Joey might actually take a stab there. But with the king coming out and the queen coming out, it's just
not much you can do.
Too much strength on that board to really take a shot at that one. So
yeah, especially those pocket threes. Pocket threes basically playing the board at that point.
Exactly. Very nearly, anyway.
Yeah, very nearly.
There's just too many ways you're beat there.
Yeah. And you see the patented KoJack's button roll. And patented dealer change. We got Tech in the box here, one of my favorite dealers.
He is one of my favorite dealers too. Really liked me some Tech.
Great guy. Good at chess, good at poker, good at dealing cards, good at telling jokes, good at eating spicy chips. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
Yeah, he ate it like it was a Dorito. It was crazy.
He is a very interesting guy.
Yes, he is.
Talking to him, he's got a lot of interesting stories, a lot of interesting little tidbits about Tech there.
If you ever meet him, if you ever come by to KoJack's, you haven't met Tech, if you ever meet him, ask him about his ghost story. He's got one of the most interesting ghost stories I think I've ever heard. There you go, putting that trophy right in the middle there. That and the cash are what these players are playing for.
Absolutely. Sometimes I wonder if maybe they want that trophy even more.
I would believe that. Although a $4,500 payout, not too shabby.
Not too shabby. So the guarantee on this was $5,000. Is that right?
That is right.
So we 2.5 times the guarantee.
Yep.
Pretty good sign of things to come.
That's a really good sign for this series. We've got a lot of cool events, and if we're off to that good of a start, tomorrow should be another huge day. We're doing the round of each tournament. You going to be playing in that one?
Oh, I would love to, but I've got Taekwondo on Wednesday nights.
Taekwondo.
So we've got testing coming up in about a month, so I gotta be there. Gotta get everything down. So
knuckle down, learn those chops and kicks.
Absolutely, I would. Otherwise, I would love to be there playing that tournament.
Now look at this. Both players making a pair of sixes. Keikoa with the better kicker, but Joey with the better draw. Keikoa still ahead at this point in terms of absolute equity.
But it's pretty close.
Pretty close.
That's right at 60-40.
Right.
That's not a place you hate to be, even if you're behind.
Yeah, either player. Certainly a lot of ways to win this. And Joey taking the aggressive route here, keeping on the pressure. Keikoa hooded, sunglasses, mustachioed, and bearded. Does make the call.
It is hard to make a pair.
It is. And look at this. Keikoa makes 2 of them.
Even harder to make 2.
Joey's still with the good draw, though. He is up and down with that 7 in his hand. Looking for any 4 or 9. Not looking for a 7. He doesn't know it, but that would be a horrible card.
Yeah, it's 7 would be pretty devastating.
That would commit him to calling, I think, in most cases, most bets. Keikoa checking. Joey thinking about it.
Can't like the ace very much. But at the same time, he's got a pair, and it's hard to make a pair.
What is this? That looks like an all-in.
It is not an all-in.
It is 315,000.
315. It's almost half a stack, not quite.
Yeah, leaves about 475 behind. A little bit of wiggle room behind for Joey. Just in case this is the wrong move. He's protecting himself at least a little bit, but still betting out about full-size pot. Strong bet that Keikoa is facing.
So Keikoa here is trying to figure out, like, what could he have that has me beat?
Right.
Would he play 7-9 suited this way?
Right.
Maybe. Little raise pre-flop just to get some action going.
Ooh, Keikoa goes all in for the remainder of Joey's stack. Joey actually getting a really good price on this.
I think at this point, Keikoa is probably really excited that he didn't get snap called.
Yeah, he very much is.
So there's no sets out there. 7-9 is pretty much off the table. 7-4 is off the table. And he beats pretty much anything else that Joey would have. Ace-8 would still have him beat, but that is
Slim to none chance right there.
very, 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 very small.
Not a whole lot of suited kings in Joey's range either, that he could be doing this with King of Hearts.
Now it's also possible that Joey has a set here, a set of 5s or a set of 6s.
Sure.
And he's just trying to decide, like, did Keikoa actually call me pre-flop with 7-9 or 4-7? He's also trying to decide, like, maybe did Keikoa just have an ace? And is he, like, he could still get 2-pair or the hit the open-ended straight draw? Also, how big is that pot with only 475,000 behind?
That's right.
Like,
pretty good price.
Can you fold there and just give up whatever equity you might have? I mean, right now we know that he is only 20%. But I mean, he's like right there. The numbers are right there.
Yeah. And sitting in Joey's chair too, you might think you've already lost. Keikoa, massive shove here. Joey going to be crippled after this, losing about half of his stack already. If he makes the wrong call here, he's out of the tournament. But if he folds right here, he's still going to be about 3-1 dog in terms of total chip stacks. If he gives up right now, Keikoa at 1.6 million, Joey at 475,000. And this could easily be the last hand of the tournament as well.
It is possible that's the case. And Keikoa is looking at this going, I really hate the position I'm in. And he makes the call.
And Joey makes the call. He is behind. Joey a 4-1 dog here on this run out. One card to come to decide his fate. One of my favorite dealers there. Tech lining up the board, lining up the pot, tapping the table, and there's the river. A 5 of hearts gives Keikoa the check mark, the trophy, and the top prize. $4,100 going into Keikoa's pocket. That trophy undoubtedly going with him on his mantle.
So I believe that these two players did a little bit of a deal, shifted the payouts just a touch. I wanted to say that it was about 4,400 at the beginning of the tournament, or at the once they announced the prize pool, and so I think they shifted about $300 off of first and on to second. So
it looks like
when they went heads up, it was. I mean, 2.1 million chips, and there was 200,000 chips between
right.
them. So
Very even spread when they were heads up, and
exactly.
KoJack's taking it down, beating Joey. And it looks like we've got all the chips lining up here. A photo op. Congratulations to Mr. KoJack's.
Absolutely. Great job, KoJack's. Great
Woo.
job, Joey.
Yeah.
Both of them deep runs. Love to see it. KoJack's used to be a dealer for us too.
Is that right?
Way back. I say way back, probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
He dealt some hands for us, and
Now he's winning our tournaments.
now he's winning our tournaments. So
You love to see it. There's a poker success story for you.
there's me sitting there. You can always follow me with my little pouch hanging off my belt.
Love it.
Keep my phone in there when I'm at work. So
And look, the winning hand displayed proudly. The board displayed proudly. All of his chips right there in the middle. A nice photo op here. Well, that's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks for checking us out. There we go. Thanks for watching us. We sure had a good time streaming this. And again, we've got many more events coming up, not only in the poker series that we're doing here, but also live stream events that we're going to be doing during the series. So make sure to check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already so that you can see our streams when they pop up and you can watch them live. You know, jump into the chat. Tell me what you're eating. Tell me where you're watching from. The whole nine. If you've ever tried any of Chris's brisket, put a review in the chat. Really keep things spicy.
absolutely.
And other than that,
Real quick.
yeah,
Back to kind of these
check it out.
the two tournament-wide player the trophies that we have. We've got our donkey over here. They announced earlier today
Hee-haw.
the donkey, it goes to the player who buys in the most times throughout the entire series.
There you go.
So if you come out and you bust 4 or 5 or 6 times in every tournament,
At least you get something.
then you get the donkey trophy.
Yep.
Donkey trophy, I think, also comes with $1,000.
Okay.
So
Get
at
a
least you
cash
get some of
prize.
that money back.
A little rebate for you.
Now, if you come in second place, sorry.
Sorry about it.
about it.
Yeah. But if you come in first place,
But for the entire tournament, actually, I think there's 8 of the 10 events that we're doing count towards the overall best player award. If you
Very
will.
cool.
I'm not sure exactly what we're calling it, but you get points for placing. If you're in the money,
there you
want
go.
points for that tournament. The number of points that you get is going to be dependent on a number of different factors. How many players there were, how many total buy-ins there were. The more times you buy in, the fewer points you get.
Interesting.
So if you get first place, but you bought in 4 times, and second place only bought in once, they're probably going to get
got more points
than you.
Okay.
So it's a little different way of kind of looking at that.
It's a series with a twist,
Exactly.
kind of like some of our events.
Yeah, and I think there's $1,000
Okay.
that goes with that too.
Well, shoot.
So, come on out, play some poker,
Yeah.
give it a go, and just have a great time out there.
That's the way to do it. We got a lot of different events coming up. We got a lot of cool trophies coming up, and we've got a lot more live streams coming up too. So come out, check us out, play some poker, or watch us on the Dangle.